Hero of Rock. The digital outlaw of rock and roll.
Okay, I got to start over again, y'all. Here we go. We're going to start over. I'm going to start the whole video over, damn it. Here we go.
Heroes of rock! Heroes of rock! Heroes of rock!
Hey, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to
Hero of Rock.
And I'm Joe Dunnigan,
The digital outlaw of rock and roll.
All right, everybody, the mic is live. Thank God. That's the second time I've done this. I have this great little thing called Stream Deck, which I can basically select all these scenes. I can do things like, different camera approaches. Watch like this one right here. I've got a lap one. I normally would have a guitar in in my lap in the second screen if I'm going to be demonstrating or teaching something. Here's the actual laptop. I'll even grab the guitar. Hang on. So if I have the guitar in my lap, you can basically see, all of the guitar. So it would help you to, play along or learn whatever I'm learning. And I don't really consider myself a teacher. I've never been a guitar teacher, but I am going to be doing something with the approach of learning how to play songs. And by you watching me play them or whatever. Oh, and I got a cool side shot, the old disc jockey side shot and everything. You can actually see I actually have several monitors here that help me to run things or whatever. Oh, here's a cool one right here. You know what? I don't have it pulled up. I got the album. What is it? I don't have Helix pulled up. Hang on a second. Here we go. All right, so cool. The cool thing is I use a Helix floor, Line 6 Helix floor for my amp modeling effects, cabinets, all that stuff and everything. I'm 64 years old and I'm tired of hauling 100-pound Marshall heads and cabinets around, and plus they don't fit in the car that I have now. I have a Jaguar XF, a 2017. I'm going to get into that story in just a minute. But the reason why I'm doing this live video, y'all, is because I have been wanting to do something. This is 50 years in the making, and I have wanted to learn how to play Eddie Van Halen's awesome uh, solo on the Van Halen 1 album called Eruption. Everybody that plays guitar knows that solo. And I mean, just about every guitar player out there either wants to learn how to play it or has learned how to play it. There's a lot of great guitar players out there that do it, do it quite well. Um, uh, Joshua Jones, I believe is his name on YouTube. Just look him up. Guys, the kid is so freaking good on the guitar. And he plays Eruption very, very well. I've watched his video quite a bit. There's also another guy out there. He's a teacher. He doesn't play it up to speed, but he does show you every note that he believes. And I think he did it the old school way, where I don't know if he took the record or not, but if he took the video on YouTube and slowed it down and learned it that way, but he learned it kind of note for note. And I'm telling you, he's very close. His name is Carl Brown. Carl, if you ever come across this video and everything, man, kudos to you, because it is you that I've studied your videos, the tapping one and the one I call it phase. It's like phase 1 through 3. It might be phase 1 through 4. There's different phases of the solo, and then going into the very last phase, which is the tapping solo, ending in the notorious dive bomb. There's myths about that. We'll talk about that. Anyway, I'm gonna do a series starting with today's video. This is to launch this series, and it's gonna be called "I Gotta Do That, So Now I Am." 50 years in the making, y'all. I'm learning how to play Eruption. Now, I will. To be fair, I actually had the idea to do this video last fall, probably 6 months ago, something like that, 7 months ago, when I started studying Carl Brown's videos, and I still go and study them today, and even more so today. So it was really a matter of relearning some of the stuff I already knew, and there were actually some places where I was making mistakes. That's just from memory. And then there were other places that I actually didn't know, and so therefore I went back to them. I revisited the videos, and I tell you, I wore my hands out. There's a place in the solo. I'm going to call it like phase 4, and it's actually the part that goes that goes right into the hand tapping part. And he does a really fast picking there, and he does this really cool this climb on the strings. And at the very end of each section, he does a really fast trill. Now, I've had damage to my left arm that has, first of all, the third finger, your ring finger, is notoriously slower than all the other fingers because the fourth finger and the pinky finger and the ring finger, they share tendons and some of the muscles in your arms. And where these two are actually, from what I understand, are actually separate, and that's why your first and second finger are always, super fast, a lot faster than your ring and pinky finger. So that being said, I'm working, I'm doing exercises right now, and y'all, I'm telling you, I use Chat GPT a lot. It just helps me to stay focused. Man, I'm ADHD to the hilt. And I tend to either get hyper focused, or my wife likes to say, "Squirrel." I'll be doing something, and then all of a sudden my attention goes somewhere else. And so I'm trying to get better at that, and trying to be more focused on realizing when I do that and go back and finish what I started. And honestly, that's what this channel is all about, man. This channel's been 4 years in the making. So at any rate, I'm working on these trills and trying to get faster. Right now, I can do 16 notes at about 126 beats a minute. I have no idea how fast those trills are, how many beats a minute are. They're a lot faster than that, I can tell you that. I'm gonna guess probably somewhere upwards between 170 and 200, maybe even faster. I don't know. I haven't figured that part out. I kind of figure once I get up to a certain speed, I'm gonna go, okay, there's where it is. So I'm basically retraining my ring finger, how to be faster. I think it's going to help me out with a lot of stuff that I wanted to learn how to play. Like for instance, there's a Doug Aldrich lick that he does. If you go back and search Doug Aldrich, he does this one guitar lesson video, and he does this lick that's goes from the third string to the second string, and it's all minor pentatonic stuff. He's basically doing, like for instance, I think he does it in the key of G. Now he's tuned down a half step. I've actually taken this particular guitar right here, because it has a tremolo, a Floyd Rose. I don't know why I hate calling it a tremolo. It's a Floyd Rose. Anyway, I got crap in my pockets I got to get out. Anyway, so where did I do with my pick? Oh yeah, here it is. You see what I mean? All right. So he does this lick, like he does it in G. Now he's tuned down a half step. So am I in this one. I actually did try to set up the Helix with the pitch shifter in it so that it would actually detune the whole guitar down to E flat, but I couldn't get around my strings being tuned to E and then what was coming out of the speakers, because when I practice, I've got two studio monitors, right here and right here. And then behind me, you can probably see them with the little red tags on them. I haven't taken them off. I'm not going to. These are the Headrush FRFR 112s. And these are freaking awesome speakers. They're 2,400 watts. I don't even have them turned nearly all the way up yet, and they can get very loud. They're just dynamic speakers. They're some wonderful speakers. So I play with all four of them. So it's kind of like I get the whole room filled with the guitar sound. But anyway, the Doug Aldrich lick, it is. I'm not. Let me see. Right, so he does. So he does that, and I'm not going to do anything up to speed right now. My hands are sore from learning Eruption. So I'm just kind of, there are times that I practice and I try to get my hands warmed up. I shake them out. I do stretches and stuff like that. That's something that I have learned from several guitar players out there. And so anyway, where was I? Oh yeah. So anyway, so I've been trying to learn that lick and get it up to speed for, God, man, probably, I don't know, 15 years, something like that. And I haven't put a ton of time into it. And you know how you try to learn something and then you'll move on, and, later you'll come back to it and everything and go, oh yeah, there's that lick right there and everything. And I can get it a little bit faster. I can sometimes play it up to about 120 beats a minute. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you've got sextuplets, right? Or you've got 6 notes, and I guess it's in a triplet kind of feel, but I can get them sometimes up to 120 beats a minute, but it's sloppy. Really. So anyway, and one of the things that's really helped me too is a freaking drum throne. See my office chair behind me? It's not on camera right now because I'm kind of sort of, covering it up with my body. But the drum throne has made a huge difference because my posture's better. My shoulders are a lot more relaxed. I'm not fighting with the armrests. And I've got the drum throne in such a way that my right foot can actually sit on the one of the tripod legs of the drum throne, and it kind of lifts the guitar up, and it's kind of a more natural feel when you're sitting down. And now, obviously, if I'm going to get back out into playing live again, then I'm going to have to start practicing standing up again. That being said, so yeah, I've been trying to learn that lick, and I think doing the trill exercises and getting that up to speed and really working on this finger is gonna work wonders for a lot of the licks that I would love to learn how to play. I'm not a shredder. I mean, I'm 64 years old. Love shredder music. Don't get me wrong, man. Like, people like Steve Terryberry or Stevie T. I love his YouTube channel. He is like one of my YouTube heroes. He's funny as shit. Can I say that? I don't know. I might have to go back and bleep that. He's funny as hell. How about that? Sorry, YouTube, that slipped. Anyway, I mean, this is not for kids anyway. So, Stevie T is one of those guys. There's channels that I follow, but anyway, I love shredders. But I've always been like a fly by the seat of my pants guitar player, and so I'm trying to become more structured and trying to work on technique a lot more. Even at my age, I'm still learning. I've been playing for, and that's what this video is all about. I've been playing for almost 50 years. It'll be 40. It's 48 years coming up this summer sometime. Now I'm going to get into the reason why I made this video. This kind of leads me into that, and maybe I'll come back to the car later. I was talking about that before, I'll just give you a quick story. So car's been giving me chaos for 5 months. I mean, it's been hell, dude. I have had PTSD because I never knew when this car was going to start or not. And it was multiple complex problems going on with my car. The starter went out. I had a small vacuum leak that was causing the car to misfire a little bit. I changed the spark plugs, changed mass airflow sensors out. Let me see, what else did we do? The major thing was the starter for sure. But what really ended up happening with this car was it's still, after all the repairs and everything, it still kept just intermittently not starting. I'm serious. Every time I would go to push the button to start this car, I would kind of cringe a little bit. I would tense up physically in my body, not knowing whether or not it was going to start or not. It's been, now I can get it started by going into the trunk where the battery is, disconnecting the battery, and then reconnecting it and going back in, and it'll fire up every single time. But that sends the whole system into chaos. And so, I was trying to get this thing to work. I just, I'm an IT guy and I'm a troubleshooter, and I'm kind of one of those that never say die. I just have a never say die attitude. I am not going to quit till I fix this thing. And I haven't thrown a ton of money into it. I haven't taken it to the shop to throw a lot of money into it. The only thing I've done is I've taken it to Christian Brothers several times. I don't know if they're out of state or not. They're definitely local here in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. And to me, they have been just absolutely phenomenal. And I know they're sick and tired of seeing my Jag, that's for sure. But I think last fall I had the battery replaced, but the negative ground strap clamp was worn out and it just wouldn't tighten down. So if you know anything about European cars, and it's going to be any car, it could be an American car too. So don't fool yourself into thinking that just because you have an American car that they don't break down and don't have all these issues, because they do. They have the same exact systems in them. Cars are systems. That's what IT teaches you. Systems. Things are built up of systems, and if one system breaks down, all the other systems don't work. And you think that's not true? Yeah, just have your telematics control unit go out in you and see if you can start your car. And that's what was happening with my car. It turned out to be what I'm still theorizing, but it's starting to lean more towards root cause analysis, very important in IT work. What was the cause of the issue? And I think that the root cause analysis issue was that the electrical system was in chaos. One, from the battery being replaced and the negative battery clamp not controlling or not tightening down, so that it wasn't getting a good ground, I guess you could say, to the car's electrical system, and it was throwing everything into chaos. My mass airflow sensors were not reading right. I've been using different scanners like Blue Driver. You can buy Blue Driver off of Amazon. I think it's like $85. It's a great monitoring system. It'll show you what codes are being thrown in your car so that you can kind of make, if you're a DIYer like me, to the depth that I can go, because obviously I don't have the kinds of tools or scanning or diagnostics tools that your professional shops do. Now, I did end up getting an Altel MK808S, about $375 on Amazon. That really taught me a lot about a lot of the systems. But you can get in there and you can go down some rabbit trails. So you got to be careful with that, not to mess your car up. Luckily, I didn't do that. I dealt with only what I knew was. I would typically go in and try to read codes of the security system, which is basically a part of the body control system, which has your. I'm going to try to remember these now. It's your TCU2, which is not your transmission. It's your telematics control unit. These glasses, that bugs me when glasses sit uneven like that. I think I have one ear. It's a little bit lower than the other or something. I don't know. Anyway, rabbit trail. But it's the telematics control unit. It's actually a TCU2. And on a Jaguar, they no longer make the unit. The company Actia, ACTIA, I believe is what the company's name is. I don't know if they went out of business or they just don't make this particular unit anymore. So Jaguar cannot get it anymore. It is something that is VIN, VIN, vehicle identification number, exclusive. So you cannot swap it out for an aftermarket part. There are no aftermarket parts out there. If somebody's trying to sell you an aftermarket part for a VIN exclusive module, beware, because those can you would literally have to buy an OEM, and then the Jaguar, in my case, a Jaguar dealership would have to program it, but they no longer make them anymore, so you can't get them. Now, of course, I went into a panic when I found all this stuff out, because I was going, I got a freaking very expensive car that I'm still paying on, and it's not dead stick in the water, but I can't start it when I want to start it without PTSD anyway. So anyway, what happened is I took it to so I replaced the battery. The negative battery clamp was wore out, so it wasn't getting a good clamp down on the negative post, which was sending the car into all kinds of electronic chaos. The things just, it was like chasing ghosts, man. Things just started not working on the car. I always had a suspicion about that, simply because my mind thinks common sense. Okay, this thing is not, of course, I use ChatGPT for everything. And I've said this before in videos, if you're not using ChatGPT and you're one of those people that thinks it's the whole Skynet thing and stuff like that, you are absolutely wrong. This is a great tool that, just think of it this way. You have a brain and you can only keep up with so much in your life, right? You can only keep up with your family, your job, and things like that. But there's things far beyond that are out of your control. But if you're an IT guy like me, or a DIYer like me, do-it-yourselfer, in other words, ChatGPT is the best $21 a month you'll ever spend in your life. I have a system. It's called the Joe OS command what do I call it? Hang on. Command center. Okay. I also have a master prompt, and the master prompt will basically ask you questions about your personality and how you think, how you work, and all that kind of stuff. And then it tailors all the responses according to that. If you want to build a resume, for instance. Now, I had a resume. It was not done with AI, and it was okay. And then, of course, it was time. I just recently got laid off from my job, and so I'm in the job hunt again, and I had to update my resume. Instead of me going and adding something to it in a document form and then exporting it as a PDF that I can send to different companies or whatever through ZipRecruiter. I'm right now. I'm kind of specifically using LinkedIn. So far, I just love LinkedIn, but like ZipRecruiter too. I've used several of them and everything, but it just seems to be right now that LinkedIn, it seems to be working for me. I think I found my last job from ZipRecruiter, so it's not like I'm favoring any of them. They're all good, but for some reason this time around I'm using LinkedIn more. Now I'm reeling myself back in. Where was I? So water. Anyway, so yeah, ChatGPT is just a phenomenal tool. Just think of it this way. You have your brain. Now you have a second brain that helps you to keep everything focused and in order. And you have all this information that you can go back and retrieve anytime you want to. In my last job, I was developing a knowledge-based article system using AI in ChatGPT. And I was going to build up a knowledge base so that when a certain issue came up that needed to be troubleshooted and resolved, I could go back and do a search through ChatGPT in that knowledge base system, and then I could possibly find a solution really quick instead of having to try to remember it myself and store all that information in my brain. I mean, ultimately, I'd love to do that, but hey, I'm 64 years old, and I think I've killed a few brain cells in my life. So thank God for ChatGPT now. Now, it helps me to write scripts. Although today, as you can see, I'm completely unscripted. I'm not looking over. I have ChatGPT open right over here. If I want to ask any questions or something like that, right now, I'm in what is called the Joe OS. So everything is compartmentalized into a Joe OS dash something title. So this one particular one is Joe OS dash EVH Eruption. So anything that I need to know concerning Eruption, concerning a live video, concerning future recorded videos, which I am going to be doing. I'm not going to be doing live videos all the time, although I will check in hopefully every week. But I also want to do other videos besides the Eruption deal. The Eruption is going to be a series. And I hope this is something you'll tune into because, so I'll tell you, here's what's good. I'm going to get back to the car now. I'm just going all over the place, y'all. I'm so new to this, but I'm just kind of winging it and having a good time. You can hear I'm excited. I just get excited when I go live, and I know that nobody's watching right now. This is a brand new channel. I'm being realistic about this, but guess what? This is practice that nobody sees until after the fact. Maybe somebody will come and discover my channel down the road, and then they'll come back and they'll watch this video. It's going to be there on my YouTube channel, which, by the way, is
Hero of Rock,
and I'm
the digital outlaw of rock and roll.
So here's my close-up view right here. It's one of those camera scenes that I told you about before. So anyway, so the car itself, it had all these, complex and compounded issues. And I'm telling you, I had PTSD to the hilt. But I just got first of all, I replaced the starter. Starts up every time now as far as the starter goes. When the car starts, it starts. And the starter did go out. Me and my wife were eating breakfast one Sunday morning at a local breakfast restaurant, and by the way, it's called the Scrambler, and great restaurant, very family oriented. It's here in Princeton, Texas, and shout out to the people at the Scrambler. It's a family oriented restaurant. I think they're breakfast and lunch. My brother, he goes to a similar one in the Colony. If you guys know the Collin County, Dallas Fort Worth area, we're the county right up north, directly north from downtown Dallas, that has Plano, Allen, McKinney, Princeton, Frisco, and my friend, I think we have Prosper, Salina, and there's probably lots of Melissa, Anna, and I think that cuts off because I think didn't you get into is it Hunt County where you get into Van Alstyne going up towards Sherman. So this whole area is really a part of the Dallas Fort Worth Metroplex, but we're 40 where I live. I'm 40 miles north of downtown Dallas, so I don't get into Dallas proper all that often. I definitely want to get down there to go try Hurtado's Mexican barbecue. I think they have two storefronts at Globe Life Field in Arlington. I think they have one in Mansfield, and I know the one in Dallas by the farmers market just opened several months ago, I think, or maybe like late last year. I've been wanting to try them. But the main reason why I want to get back down to downtown Dallas, more specifically the area just southwest, I believe it is, of White Rock Lake. If any of you know White Rock Lake, man, back in the day when I was a kid, that's where they used to do the walkathons, where you'd walk around the lake. It's 9 miles around the lake. I used to ride my bicycle, a road bike. I used to actually live in Richardson, right by Arapahoe and 75, and I would ride my bike all the way down to White Rock Lake, around White Rock Lake, and then back to Richardson. I think it was like 26 miles. I would do that in, a couple of hours. I don't remember how much time it was. But it was also back when I was, I think I used to do that in 2000 and might have been 2001, 2002, somewhere around there, 2003. About the time when I was going to Cross for the Nations Bible Institute, and I used to definitely ride a bike a lot, and I was in decent shape, and I was probably well, now I've actually lost a little bit of weight. I was at my heaviest, I was like 232. I'm down to 207. I actually got down to 199. And I'm doing a carnivore diet, and I don't want to go into a rabbit trail here, but I got down to 198 actually, and then went on vacation to my wife had went to a award ceremony where she was basically it was not an award. She was recognized by the company that she works for. It was called the Circle of Excellence, and I think there was 30, maybe a little over 30 people that were recognized throughout the United States and Canada, I believe, for the Circle of Excellence, and it was an all expense paid trip to the what was it? It was in Champions Gate in just like 45 minutes south of Orlando, Florida. I can't remember the hotel chain. I was the Omni. And it was the Omni Resort at Champions Gate, I believe is what it was called. I'm pretty close to that. Anyway, beautiful, beautiful hotel with a golf course. I mean, the whole view out the back of the hotel is a golf course. And they had this place just a little bit of a walk away from the hotel that was kind of like a Top Golf place where you could go and hit golf balls. And there was a banquet there on the Friday night that we got there, and it was a Cuban themed menu buffet. And the food was so freaking good, man. There was so much that was not on the carnivore. Now the meat was on carnivore, but there was other stuff that was really good that wasn't on carnivore. And I didn't overdo it, but I started eating, and then of course, you know, the drinks were, on. I mean, they just kept coming, and I mean, we did all kinds of espresso martinis and everything. Let's just say this: I wasn't drinking any alcohol for 27 days until we went on this vacation, and so I'm trying to reel myself back in because that was at the end of March, and it is now May 15th, and I still haven't reeled myself back in yet. I still feel like I'm kind of in this party zone or whatever, but health wise, I need to reel myself in because I never felt better than the time that I wasn't drinking alcohol. So it is certainly a decision that I have to make in the very near future on whether my health is more important or whether partying and alcohol is more important. So at any rate, um, and after that, we went to my wife's mother's house. She lives in the Sarasota Bradenton area, and it's just gorgeous there. And we went kayaking and had a blast and everything. So yeah, I'm still having to reel myself in. Speaking of reel myself in, that was a rabbit trail. So a little bit of water here. Anyway, so I knew I was talking about the car, and I don't know why I went down the whole rabbit trail of carnivore and all. Okay, well, anyway, so I'm at 207 right now, but I had gotten down to 198. I've never gotten back heavier than 210, and that's just fluid and inflammation is all it is. It's not enough time to gain that much fat weight. Um, and I would probably submit too that from March 1st is when I started the carnivore diet until today, May 15th. That's 70. This I did my 73-day check-in, but today is actually day 74, and so I'll do day 74 check-in tomorrow. I check in with Chat GPT every day. I tell them, what my weight is. Sometimes I take my measurements and everything. I kind of haven't been taking my measurements because my gut's probably a little bit bigger. Although the last time I did it, my waist was 38 and a half. That is not. I wear size 34 pants. Those are called vanity measurements. Okay, those are not actual inches. I'm like 34 and a half, or 38 and a half inches around my waist. And I'm trying to get back down to a 32, where I'm thin, and I definitely feel better and look better when I'm a little bit thinner and not carrying around so much fluid, and because when you drink alcohol, you get dehydrated. There's a paradoxical thing that happens when you drink alcohol. You get dehydrated, but you also you hold fluid, and that's why your gut gets big, your face gets puffy, you get arthritic pains in your fingers and your knee. I've had them in my knees and in my first finger. Since I started gaining a little bit of weight back, it's inflammation. That's all it is. There's only one way to cure that, and that's to stop drinking alcohol and get rid of that fluid and that inflammation. So, and stress causes that too. Losing a job. My mother passed away on Christmas Day, and still grieving a little bit about that. I'm not really an outside griever. Last Saturday, went to go see her gravesite, and with my brother and my wife, and then we went out to eat lunch after that, and it's just been a lot of stress. So guess what happens? The alcohol keeps you awake at night. I was sleeping literally before I started drinking again on April the 28th or March the 28th. And what happened was I was sleeping like 4 to 6 hours a night. So I would wake up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, fried out and bushy tail and ready to get out of bed. And I'm not a morning person, or so I've been telling myself that. But when I'm healthy and not drinking so much alcohol, I didn't need as much sleep, and I wasn't taking naps at all during the day. Obviously, I was at work, so I wouldn't take naps, but I didn't feel the need to. I wouldn't. Now, his funny thing is, I'll get a little sleepy on the way home from driving from work, which is about 27 miles and everything. And you know how you get that highway hypnosis and you get really kind of sleepy driving. And that was kind of happening to me quite a bit. And I was a little concerned about that. But anyway, so I want to get back to the car. So what happened was I replaced the battery. Eventually, the battery got replaced again. Thank you to Christian Brothers. They really did me right. They did me a solid. They replaced the battery again, and they also replaced the battery clamp. I think that cost me like $120. And the electrical system. This has been probably about 3 weeks to a month ago. So the electrical system has stabilized since then. But I was still having these intermittent starting issues. Now, every time if I would go in and I would disconnect the battery and reconnect it, it would start up. It was waking the modules up. They weren't coming out of sleep mode when I would try to start the car. And it turns out, now I just took it back to Christian Brothers. What day was that? Monday. Dropped the car off at Christian Brothers on Monday. And I actually picked it up on Thursday, yesterday. So it was in the car it was in the shop for most of the week. They discovered the brake switch. Now, if any of you know that has the push button system in your car will not start unless you put your foot on the brake. So it was intermittent. I'd put my foot on the brake sometimes and the car would start right up. And other times I would go and all you see is the dials go shoot and shoot right back over again. And the car it's just not cranking. So, you know, me and my IT experience and my ADHD brain and trying to figure out what's going on. At first I thought it was just catastrophic because we had found out that the TCU2 module, the telematics control unit, is no longer made. And I actually called the Jaguar dealership here locally, and they said that it would take them about 3 weeks and about $7,000 to do a workaround. And my heart just went into panic mode because I'm sitting here paying on my car still. I still have like 2.5 years maybe to pay on my car before it's paid off, something like that. It might be a little bit more. I'm not sure. It might be 3. Yeah, I'm one of those dumbasses that took like a almost 7-year loan, but it's my Jaguar and I love the car. And at any rate, so so we replaced the battery and the battery clamp. Started noticing the electrical system was starting to stabilize a little bit, or at least that's what it felt like to me. And then all of a sudden started having intermittent starting problems where it wouldn't start, but I could disconnect it from the battery and it would. Or I bought this Autel MK808S scanner, and you can go into a certain place into it titled security, and you can have it check the antennas. And when it does that, it would wake the modules up, but it was intermittent. It would wake the modules up, and the car would, and I could put my foot on the brake and the car would start. Then it kind of got to a place where I put my foot on the brake and push the button, and it would still just, and nothing would happen. The car wouldn't start. So that's when I took it to Christian Brothers. I knew that I was throwing in the white flag because it was beyond me at this point. This has been probably 5 months in the making. And boy, I'll tell you what, these lights are hot. At any rate, so I took it to Christian Brothers on Monday, and they started to do some diagnostics on it on Tuesday, on Monday that day. And then they called me and they said, we've got to replace the brake switch before we can even get to the diagnostics on the modules. And I went, that makes total sense. It wasn't something that was an outrageous repair. I mean, the diagnostics and the brake switch was $560, I think. And for a European car, that's a decent price. Let me tell you, these cars are expensive when you take them to a shop for sure. I think there was some a while back. Now I had a warranty through Christian Brothers at the time, and they there was some PVC pipes under the supercharger. The 6-cylinder, I had the 6-cylinder, it has a supercharger. So that means they have to dismantle the supercharger, replace the pipes, and then put everything back together. That would have been a $4,000 repair. Money I did not have, but thank God I had the warranty. And so, that's one thing. God has taken care of me with this car and everything. I've just always had the right thing at the right time for it for some reason. And this time is no different. So I'm going to tell you what happened. So Christian Brothers finally was able to do the diagnostics. They said something very telling. They said that the TCU2, the telemetrics control unit, it has intermittent issues. Intermittent means it works sometimes and doesn't work sometimes. So that doesn't mean that it's dead. It just means that it's working sometimes and not working sometimes, which means something is causing it to work sometimes and not work sometimes. Well, switching the brake switch out definitely helped it, because here's what happened. So the mechanic over there, super cool guy, he told me exactly what he did, showed me a little trick to get it started by using it's called a power probe. If you ever work on your cars, and y'all, let me tell you something. If you're not a drummer and you're not used to sitting on a drum throne, let me tell you something. They don't do your crotch very good. So I'm adjusting myself here a little bit. Y'all, I'm laughing at myself because, man, the crotch kind of starts hurting after a while. I guess you have to, build up calluses or something. But anyway, so he showed me a little trick to start the car with a power probe if I needed it. So I bought one, $174, and it's going to stay in my car at all times, so that I don't have PTSD on when the car, doesn't start. And I don't have to disconnect the battery. I just basically connect the power probe to the positive ground on the vehicle. And then right under the, what did they call that? The cowl area, it's on the passenger side, rear of the engine bay, under a cowl. So there's a little lid that you just pull off, and there's a fuse box in there. You open the fuse box lid, and there's a series of 3 5-amp fuses, and the middle fuse is the fuse that controls power going to the starter relay, which is actually in a completely different area. I believe it's up at the front of the engine, same side, passenger side. And there's an area there. It's called, I call it a jump station. You don't have to open up the trunk to jump your car, because, like I said, the battery is in the trunk. You can use a jumper or jumper cables or whatever right there at the front of the car. It's super simple. So anyway, he showed me the little trick where you connect it to power on your car, and then the probe has a neutral. It has not a toggle switch, it's a rocker switch. So in the middle is neutral. It's basically you can touch it and tell whether or not there's voltage or ground. Or if a fuse, it's great to test fuses, is what it's great for. And then if you push it down, it sends ground into something. If you push up, you can't see my hand. So if you push down, it sends ground. And then neutral is you can probe and test, but it doesn't send any power in anything. And then up, it sends power to it. And so if you touch that, there's 3 fuses and they're 5 amps. The middle fuse, the second fuse, if you touch it to that fuse and hit the up on that button, it will basically send voltage through to the starter relay, and it will start the car. Now you have to turn ACC or auxiliary on in your car in order for that to happen. So that really just, I mean, I tell you what, when he showed me that, there was such a huge weight lifted off of my shoulders that there was at least a workaround. Yeah, it would be embarrassing to go somewhere and my car wouldn't start and have to lift the hood up and put the probe on, get it started, and jump in the car and go. But y'all, that hasn't been the case. I've had the car now for a full day, and I got it yesterday morning. And this is the cool thing. My mechanic, I don't want to say his name, but I don't want to, because I don't really have permission to talk about him or anything like that. And I don't want to, I don't want him to get mad at me or anything like that. But but I can tell you, he's at Christian Brothers in Allen, Texas, and I highly recommend them. And I also recommend the one in Salina too. I won't go into it, but they are the ones that did the battery replacement twice. And they are stand-up people. I don't care what you've heard about Christian Brothers. I'm telling you, if you've had problems with Christian Brothers, it's because of you. It is not because of them. They are good people, and they're principled people. And yes, they're here to make money just like anybody else. And yes, they're going to give you recommendations of what needs to be done on your car and do upsells and stuff like that. But anytime you go to an oil change place, they do that. Anytime you go to a dealership, they do that. So you can't just say Christian Brothers is the worst one around. Believe me, I've been to worse shops. I promise you. So what happened was, he showed me with the probe how to start it and everything. And so I'm thinking, well, I've got to figure out a way to, permanently fix this. I can't get my hands on a TCU2 unit, anymore. So I've got to find, I called the Jaguar dealership and it was going to be $7,000. I didn't care about how much time it was going to take. We had enough cars around here for me to get around or whatever. So I'm not worried about that. But I didn't have $7,000 and shit. That was like 1/3 of what I paid for the car. I paid $22,000 for the car. And which was a great deal, by the way. That car, except up until this point right now, that car has been absolutely flawless. It's been phenomenal. Yes, there's been things that broke down on it, and I had a warranty on it and stuff like that. But things break down on cars. This car has not been in the shop all the time. In fact, I bought it with 87,000 miles on it, and it has over 127,000 miles on it now. So I've put 40,000 miles on this car. And it's been mostly, highway mileage for driving back and forth to work. So I left Christian Brothers and I came home, and of course, well, what my mechanic told me, was that he said, I went out to check it this morning and everything, it started right up. It just like nonchalant, just like that, it started right up. And I went, oh, okay, cool. Well, so I got in the car after paying for it and everything. I got in the car and went to go start it up. And of course, there's that PTSD feeling and everything, and boom, car started right up. And what I noticed right off the bat, which I didn't say before, was there's been an SOS warning light in the dash. The SOS is there's 2 buttons. One is for the dealership and one is for emergencies, I think. I think these cars work on 3G right now, which is a problem because 3G is going to go away eventually. And I could be wrong. This could be on 4G, but I'm not. I think it's on 3G. Is what I've been told. So anyway, it started up. I got it home and everything. I let it sit in the driveway for a couple hours. I went back out, started it up, boom, cranked right up again. And I'm going, oh my God. I did that a total yesterday. I did that from the start when I left the the shop to at home, I think I started the car 6 or 7 times, and it fired up every time. Now I got up first thing this morning, and I went, I'm going to go see if that sucker fires right up. Now let me tell you, I had been having battery drainage issues because of the modules being in chaos, and they didn't find any battery. There's no parasitic drainage at all. And so what I think is happening is the electrical system being in chaos. We finally got the good electrical. The batteries all connected, correct, and everything. I just hadn't had a lot of drive cycles to get all the bugs worked out in the car's computer that basically controls all those modules. And the modules are basically secondary. It's the car's computer that runs everything. So think of it this way: you have a laptop, and it has the operating system that runs everything, that runs the hardware. In other words, that operating system, which is what the car's computer is, it runs everything in that car, all the systems in the car, not just not just power steering and all the brake lights and everything. I'm talking about all the intricate systems of the car that make it run like a modern car does. It's not just carburetors and spark plugs anymore. You've got fuel injectors. You have coils with your spark plugs now. Coils can go bad, so you might have slight misfires, which is one of the problems I may have. That's easy fix, $75. To replace one, I'll replace them all for $350. Anyway, so I think, did I do my math right? 225. So actually $450. Sorry. I think that's right. Anyway, math is not my forte. So I got up this morning, started right up, and I thought, no, I've got to go take some things back to Amazon to drop off at Whole Foods in Allen. So I got in the car, started up, boom, started right up, and no SOS warning light on. That's a big sign right there. And of course, the brake switch being replaced was probably at least the core of what was going on. It was intermittent, going in and out. A very inexpensive part may have been causing all of this stuff, besides the electrical issues, which was just was a complex chasing ghost situation with the car. But I think it's finally over. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, but I think it's finally over. The car started every time since I took it away from the shop yesterday. There were times after I replaced my starter, it did that for like 10 days in a row, but I didn't know the underlying problem of the brake switch going in and out. And that could have been for months. It was working intermittently. I don't know how that works. Maybe one day I'll look into it or whatever. But it started up every time. I can't tell you what a huge relief this is off of my shoulders, off of the stress, and it's bad enough dealing with being laid off of work and having financial uncertainties and stuff like that. I found out I got a lump sum 3-month severance from the company I work for, Halos Body Cameras. What a great company. It was a business decision. It wasn't, it wasn't anything. I was told it wasn't anything performance. I believe that because I really put my heart and soul into that position. They flew me to Ireland, me and my wife to Ireland last November, and we got married in Ireland and everything. They were such a great company. They are a great company. So, just all the uncertainty and everything, and this is just one less thing that I have to be worried about. I'm still in the back of my mind, it's still there, but it's not here in the front of my mind, causing high cortisol level and PTSD and stuff like that. It's like if I push the button and everything and it fires up, it's kind of like boom, it's gone. That feeling is gone immediately. So Now that's the whole thing about the cars and everything. I'm really doing this for me because I'm getting used to talking on camera, and I'm going to get more structured and reel myself in. I kind of go down a lot of rabbit holes, but here's the real reason why I'm doing this video. I spoke about it earlier. I'm going to learn how to play Eruption after almost 50 years. That was I got to do that. Now, let me tell you the story. I touched on it a little bit in my last live video. When I was probably 16, maybe going on 17 years old, it was the summer of 78. I believe the Van Halen 1 album came out in February of 78, if I'm not mistaken. Might have been February 4th, I think. I saw that the other day. Y'all can put that in the comments if you like. And, oh, by the way, while I'm at it, let me see, where is this? I know that I had video. Just got to find it now. Hang on. Uh-oh. I thought I had made a... Oh, here's what, y'all, you know how YouTubers do this and everything. I'm still getting used to this Stream Deck made by a company called Elgato, I believe. They make this coolest thing. It's here, let me just switch here to my lap camera right here, because I can move it around. So here's what it looks like right here. It's this cool little deal. Each one of these buttons switches to different scenes, different camera scenes. And so, oh, I got to straighten the camera, straighten the thingy back out. There we go. Got to be kind of level. Anyway, it's very cool. I can switch different scenes and everything. So here's what YouTubers do, and I'm no different because I've got to build this channel. I'm just starting out. So here's what I would like for you to do. Subscribe and hit that bell, hit the like and everything. Do all that stuff. Help me out so that I can build this channel and be able to buy cool equipment. Y'all, I'm in this like 10 by 10 little office space in here that if you saw, there's very little. It looks bigger than it is on camera, but it is so small and so cramped in here and everything that I mean, I literally had to squeeze through to get through the door over here. So at any rate, go back to my close up here. So the reason why I'm doing this video and doing the series called I Gotta Do That, So I Am, it's 50 years in the making. Eddie Van Halen is the reason why I play electric guitar. It's the reason why I just, there's so many reasons why I love rock and roll and everything, but he's the one that really lit the fire in me with Eruption. Because when I first heard it, I'll tell you, when I first heard this tune right here, now I don't know why it stopped. There we go. So I gotta, be careful with copyright flag. But I'm told that if I turn the volume down really low and talk over it and everything, then it's okay. I see guys doing this all the time. We're gonna find out, aren't we? But here's the thing. I've been wanting to learn how to do this for 50 years, and I just didn't think that I was that good of a guitar player. And then last summer or last fall, I started kind of diving into it and exploring the possibilities, I guess you could say. And so thanks to Carl Brown's 2 videos, I started learning how to play it, and life got in the way. My mother passed away. I went to Ireland and got married. Just life happened and everything. And by the way, this channel is all about live music and nostalgia. This is all about nostalgia. It's not just going to be about music, but it is going to be about music and how it affects us, how it makes the hairs raise up on our arms when we hear a certain song all the time. And here's this dive bomb. It's just so cool. And I've heard, I've heard myths that Eddie used a Univox delay and turned the knob to do the dive bomb and everything. But from what AI is telling me, that he actually did the dive bomb, but was using the Univox delay and other effects that made it sound like that. But we'll never know because Eddie's not here anymore. I mean, there might be people out there that tell the story, but who knows if it's a truth or not. Doesn't matter. I'm going to do the dive bomb approach to it. I do have a preset tone set up in the Helix floor that Chat GPT helped me to make. And by the way, y'all, in the future, I'm going to be making preset tones for Helix. There's 1,000,001 people out there doing them, but I'm going to make them where they're tested live so that you can take a preset. Now, you may have to make some tweaks in it, but you can take them and they're live playing or studio playing ready. That's going to be sometime off in the future and everything. Something I'm going to, market in the future, but not now. So what's going to happen now is I'm going to be learning Eruption. Now, I've already got a little bit of a head start. I've actually worked on it a lot this week. I've been giving my hands a little bit of rest because I was working pretty hard. I know the notes and I know how to play all the notes all the way through. Might not be all sequenced and perfect or anything like that, but it is going to be done in such a way that here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a live video in the future. I don't know when that's going to be. It could be a month from now, 2 months from now, 6 months from now. I don't know yet. And I'm going to play Eruption live. I'm going to pick a place and a time that's going to be kind of celebratory and cool and fancy and stuff like that. It's going to be a big hullabaloo. I'm going to figure out how to reach out to people and get them involved in the live show and stuff like that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy the EVH Frankenstrat, the Frankie replica, which is about $2,100 without the case. And I'm going to play Eruption on that guitar. Now, it seems gimmicky and everything, but I'm buying it for me as a reward. And because it's going to take a lot of hard work. To bring that thing up to speed is going to be a task. And it's going to take some time. But I've got to get stronger in my hands. I'm actually going to the gym and working out. I'm building myself up in a right way. I'm trying to get ready for this and do it in a right way. And it's going to be a homage to Eddie Van Halen. And you can actually see there's a thumbnail that I have here. Yeah, so this is supposed to be a likeness of me when I was about 16 years old. I actually did have long hair like that. And I actually did the whole, jaw dropped when I first heard Eruption in 1978. And thanks to Chat GPT for designing this for me. It's got the Heroes of Rock logo into it. And so that's what's going to be happening. I am going to be checking in periodically. I'm going to do recorded videos. They're going to be probably 10 or 15 minutes long. I'm not going to be rambling in them. You might hear a bunch of bleeped out F-bombs from me getting frustrated and all that, but that's what's going to happen. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sign out now. I've been on here for a while. I don't even know how long now. I've been rambling on. But anyway, y'all be looking out for the videos coming along. This is Joe Dunnigan, the digital outlaw of rock and roll, and this is Heroes of Rock. Until then, y'all have a great day.